What is good, all of my beautiful people? And just before this video started, I want to say I start the fantasy league. Down below will be the link if you want to prove once and for all that you're a smarter human being than Quackers, the greatest tactical mind of all time. You want to take on the challenge of beating me? Join the league below and let's see what you got, even if you all will get clotted. So, if you finally want to get one over on the big Quack man. Anyway, back on topic. This is my Euro 21, 20, whatever you want to call it, prediction thread. First up, Group A. It's pretty straightforward. 27 games unbeaten. A manager in Mancini, who, although a long-haired fraud and a pretty boring old fart, he can set his teams up to defend. And a front three consisting of the likes of Insigne, Berardi, Bernardeschi, Chiesa, Immobile or Belotti. Those are options, and anything less than a comfortable first place, it's going to be a pretty blatant disappointment for this Italian team. Their success later on in the knockout stages is going to be very, very dependent on the form of one Ciro Immobile. 46 games and 13 goals. Mate, get your finger out.
Shame!
If he can't score with a midfield of Barella and Locatelli supplying
Shame!
lads, Italy gonna struggle. Next up, I think most people's dark horses for the tournament. Second place is gonna be Turkey. There's another dark horse I'm gonna pick ahead of them later on, but I reckon they'll get through this group. 4 out of 6 points against France, a young defence including the likes of Mary Demiral, Kagla Sionku and Zeki Selik, and a man in the form of his life in Burak Yilmaz. However, similar to Italy, who have their issues of inconsistency up front, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, one of the world's most inconsistent players. They've got a very young and inexperienced team, the youngest in the tournament. His performances are going to be crucial. But Turkey are just that tournament team that you never want. They will either butcher their way like a bunch of psychos to the very top, or look like a bunch of grandpas who can't get up anymore. Here's the thing. This same team that beat France, they drew 0-0 with Guinea. Then 3-3 with a Latvia team who just got smoked 7-1 by Germany. Who knows who's going to show up, but I'm going to have some faith in them. Second place for them. Next up in the group, Switzerland. To me, this is just as straightforward as Italy, to be honest. A solid team with some very good individuals like Akanji, Xhaka, yes I said Xhaka, who actually number one plays well for his country. And let's not forget this crucial bit of information, yeah? I mean this. He got his family's house keys over his older brother at the age of 9. That is a man. What a man. Shaqiri, he always shows up for these things. But it isn't Switzerland's individual ability that has made me pick them. It's how little I rate Wales, to be honest. Ryan Giggs ruining their build-up by being an absolute bellend. Shock horror. Bale, is he going to finish 270 minutes of group football? Doubt it. Ramsey, who was arguably not just Wales' best player at last year's Euros, but the best player at last year's Euros. Mate, that man's hamstrings are made of string cheese. You're going to have some boy start picking at them for his lunchbox. I just don't see it. Even if they've got some quality shithouses, Kiefer Moore, he's going to upset a couple people. I'd be very shocked if a team who can only get one shot on target against Albania does much in this tournament, to be honest. I'm betting it's a big 0 pointer for Wales. Next up, on to Group B. One of the closer groups, and you always find one of these groups, they'll probably sneak into that third place spot that gets you into knockout stages. But anyway, Belgium, they should qualify. Lukaku alone, he should be enough, in spite of KD's bruck-up face and Hazard's fat issues or whatever they are. Carrasco and Tielemans are in good form coming into it, and they should help ease the burden missed. 10 wins from 10 in the qualifying, just 3 goals conceded, and defence is meant to be their weak spot. With Finland being their final game, I'm expecting 9 from 9. If they had a Denmark, if they had basically anyone but Finland for their final game, I could see them dropping points against a Russia or a Denmark. But Finland, I'm going 9 from 9 even if they're restless, to be honest. Second place, Denmark. In terms of individual ability, they just seem clear of both Russia and Finland. Even with questions over the likes of squad fitness after Bosnian's hit squad came for those ankles, I expect good things from this Denmark team. They are my dark horses. In games where tactics often lack the fluidity of club football, defence wins you tournaments. Schmeichel, Huas, Kajir and Anderson ahead of an incredibly solid midfield three in Højbjerg, Delaney and Eriksson. Yeah, Dolberg, Poulsen and Braithwaite may have the combined finishing abilities of a eunuch and a brothel, but I think they got a bit about them. Third place, I genuinely would have gone for Finland, but they've recently just discovered, Lamau, everyone else is using a free pack. How about screw everything that got us here? Let's use 1-2. And when your strikers are fours and Pukki, who probably need more than one shot a game, it's not going to go great if you take all of their support away from them. Glenn Kamara is a decent midfielder. I haven't really heard about many of the other midfielders, and even from researching them, I'm not too impressed. Hirodeki in goal, we've all heard about him. He really could have that Oko or Howard moment. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Russia, to me, just individually outshine them. Golovin and Jazuba should be enough firepower to get 3 points off Finland, and to me, that 3 points, that could be enough to get them into the knockout stages. And with that, on to Group C. As far as Dutch and Crystal Palace fans are concerned, Big Frank de Boer is a football terrorist. The total football playing, weed smoking Dutchman now play a free back, which quite frankly is blasphemy. They do look a shell of their former selves, but they also have one Memphis Depay. He seems determined to do something magical. He dragged them to a 2-2 draw against Scotland. He was the star in their 3-0 win against Georgia in the build-up. There are still questions over the likes of Berghaus and Weghorst. Will they give him the support he needs? Who knows? But if Gravenberch or Koopmeiners can have a breakout tournament to go with Wijnaldum and De Jong in midfield, ahead of one already solid, De Ligt, Blinden, De Vrij, Free, Wijndal and Dumfries, yeah, they may have not really been tested in Europe's biggest competitions, but they look good physical fullbacks. They could pull off a miracle. They really could, and I'm not going to lie, Depay is one of my bets for top scorer of the whole thing. On to the next three though. I've gone back and forth on this over and over and over, but I'm going with Austria. A battering ram like Sasa Kalasic, definitely pronounced that wrong, up top. He is going to upset people coming off a very decent season for Stuttgart. They've got that experience and quality in midfield of Sabitzer and Alaba. Baumgartner looks a quality young midfielder that young Hoffenheim centre mid, and Baumgartlinger coming back from injury just at the right time. I don't think it's going to be comfortable, but I could see them scraping through. I think their striker Sasa Kalasic, however you pronounce it, big 6'7", fast, decent with his feet, he is going to cause issues. Next I'm going Ukraine. Every tournament has that one fella who gets the ball from 30 yards out and shouts Kobe. Roman Malinowski is my bet for that man in this tournament. He has it in his locker. A team disrupted so badly by COVID, they once played a 45-year-old in goal. They're going to be used to having to scrap for everything. Shevchenko has got them fighting, and I think it'll be enough for third place in their group. Don't think they'll qualify third place, because I could see North Macedonia nicking something off of them. They played Austria in the qualifier, North Macedonia. They got a paddle in 4-1 and 2-1 both times. However, they nicked a win off of Germany. We know they're capable of big results, and I think they could steal one. I don't think they're going to have enough to be in Austria or Holland. I'm going to go with them in fourth place, but I could see something happening, even if Goran Pandev, one of their older players, is legitimately older than their entire country. On to Group D, boys, the group where it's probably better to come second than first, but England are going to do it, they're going to come first. The Czechs, they've looked very average, even if they nicked win against a draw rather against Belgium in March, and a game against an over-the-hill Croatia at Wembley under the arch. I could see England dropping points against Scotland, but I think that'll be enough. That should be 6 points from Croatia and the Czech Republic, and that should be enough for a comfortable first place. Croatia, on the other hand, they're not the same team that went out into the finals. Kramaric, Orsic, Rebic, they have attacking talent. They have a genuine threat in front of the likes of Modric and Brozovic. And Livakovic in goal, he might have a breakout tournament. But they're just getting so old, and when you've got this many games back to back after Modric has already had to carry Madrid midfield for so long, I don't think they're going to be able to overcome the youth of England. On to position 3, I'm going to go with Scotland. A team that will be determined to perform in their first tournament in a while, and a team finally with some attacking threat now they've got Sheridan and Lyndon Dykes up front. They're going to be more motivated than anyone to steal a point off England, and I could genuinely see them doing it. Tierney in that left centre back, left back hybrid role finally found a way to play with Andy Robertson. Fair play Steve Clarke. They've got a chance to pull off a shock here, to be honest, and I really think they could do something in this tournament, even if their team's not the best. Their team doesn't tend to perform to their ability. But Scott McTominay and McGinn, if they can figure it out, they've got enough to shithouse some results. Well, honestly, the Czechs, to me, they just lack quality. Souček and Soufal, we all know about them. Hlozek, their young striker, could have a breakout year, but they couldn't even beat Wales in March, and they struggled to beat a team like Israel. I'm going to go for a bottom finish for them, sorry lads. Firstly, on to Group B. Spain's tournament, the whole thing, lives or dies on Sergio Busquets, and a positive COVID test means even if their captain doesn't show symptoms, he's going to be struggling to be in any shape for the tournament. Pau Torres and Laporte offer real quality at the back, but they're inexperienced playing together, they're both left-footed, and I just don't know if Rodri is defensively reliable enough to secure that defence behind him. Pep clearly didn't think so. And Marcus Llorente at right back, their best attacking player in my opinion, is just an act of football terrorism, and hopefully Luis Enrique comes to his senses, because I think Spain's tournament really could rely on it. They do look good though, they can create chances, they pass the ball as well as you'd expect, and in all honesty, they are probably the team most secure in their identity, yes, over France, in the whole tournament. Unfortunately, Alvaro Morata seems to have an issue with a fan in the crowd every game, because he sends a ball hurtling after him anytime he gets through on goal. Gerard Moreno is going to have the tournament of his lifetime, and he could, but it's going to take a gigantic effort from the Villarreal winger, striker, whatever the bloody hell Emre plays him, it's weird. Poland and Sweden is an absolute toss-up, to be honest. Isaac and Królewski, they haven't made their positions their own like the Swedish population would have wanted them to, and they're going to be relying on Marcus Berg for a lot of that attacking quality up front. The issue of that, of course, is the combined age of all my YouTube subscribers is probably still younger than Marcus Berg, so good luck with that. However, in spite of Lewandowski, I still see Sweden winning this matchup, to be honest. Maybe even on a goal difference scenario, it's going to be a tight one. But Poland rarely performed to their full ability in tournaments. I mean, when they had Kuba, Piszczek in their primes, Krychowiak when he was actually good, Glick at his best, they still struggled to give Lewandowski any service. So I can't see them doing much better now. Meaning it's going to come down to the defences. And I just think Lindelof and Pontus Jansson are better than Bednarek and over the hill Kamil Glick. So I'm going Sweden second place and Poland third. I mean, who even knows how Lewandowski's knee's going to react to 270 minutes of tournament football. Then comes Slovakia. I'm sorry, I just don't see much there. Dubravka, Skriniar, Lobotka, they have some quality next to Hamzic. But Hamzic struggled in Sweden. I don't know if he was holding back, but he didn't do great things for FC Gothenburg. And I mean, they still play Vladimir Weiss up front. I mean, come on. So, on to Group F. The Group of F. Portugal are so defensively solid, they could genuinely still win. However, France, with Benzema back, just have so much individual quality. Who knows? Maybe Ronaldo can pull off a masterclass. Maybe Benzema won't play as well with the individual players as Giroud did. I find France, I think everyone who's watched them can see, they are so reliant on their individual abilities, and they have all right to be, because player for player they're better than everyone else in the league. League, Europe, world, doesn't really matter. Galaxy, universe, they're better than them. But player for player, France are just so exceptional. So I'm going to say France first, Portugal second. Why? I'm just going to be that typical shite pundit who says because hashtag name power. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes doesn't do as well for Portugal as he does Man United. But Bernardo Silva does. Diego Jota does. Giancarlo Guedes is inconsistent but offers some real quality. They have enough firepower between the four behind Ronaldo. It doesn't matter if one of them doesn't perform. Germany, they're going to come and try and counter shithouse their way through the group. But no one out shithouses Fernando Santos, as Portugal found out when they played Greece in 2004. We all know Germany is suddenly going to find their form. We all know it. They look awful. They did just beat Latvia 7-1, but they're going to find something. But a free back with their attacking talent, and Müller, after finally getting back in the team, Lowe said to him, "Lamau, screw you, you're playing striker, not that camera you've always excelled at." But who knows? Sane, Werner and Gnabry offer some insane attacking talent. I don't think it's going to be enough, but they should be able to beat Hungary and get into that third place position. So who knows? Maybe that will be enough to see Germany home. Hungary, I'm sorry for your loss, lads. And so, that obviously leaves the four best placed, third placed teams. And to me, this more comes down to who is going to be able to beat their fourth place team. Germany, they're going to beat Hungary. Even if it might be only 3 points, I see them getting through. Scotland, I think they've got enough about them to beat the Czech Republic. And not just that, I still think they could nick a point off of England. So to me, that's going to be enough to get them through. Next up, again, Switzerland. I just don't rate Wales. So Switzerland, they're through. Finally, again, as I said, if Finland had stuck to their identity and what got them there, and if they do rediscover their identity, maybe they'll pull something off. But if they're going to stick to this free back, Artem Dzyuba is a big unit of a man, and sometimes that's enough to make a free back break down. You can park the bus, but if there's a big hulk in the middle of the road, you're going to crash. Russia, I'm going for you boys. And so that obviously brings me on to the knockout stages, the round of 16, and where tournament football really gets fun. Belgium, Scotland. I'm sorry, Scotland. Lukaku, as I just said about Russia, big, strong strikers can make buses break down. I think Lukaku alone. Hazard he's got a lot to prove. He might still struggle. Kevin De Bruyne, I don't rate in big matches, but this, unfortunately for Belgium, ain't going to be one. I see De Bruyne actually performing in knockout football for once. I'm putting Belgium through. Italy, Austria. There could be a miracle here. Austria really could pull something off, but also at the same time, they looked pretty awful against England in the warm-up. I'm sure they're going to find their footing much better later on, but for now, I see Italy doing enough to get through them. France, Russia. Croatia, Sweden. I'm going to surprise some people. I'm going to go with Sweden. Again, Croatia are playing a lot of football, and a lot of Croatia's skill is in their energy, in their stamina that goes with their technical ability. They're getting a lot older. Their defence doesn't seem nearly as strong as it used to. And even if they do have all of that attacking talent up top, Sweden are my bet to pull off an upset. I don't think Sweden are the favourites here. I'm just backing them. Again, Spain versus Switzerland. Even Granit Xhaka and his parents' house keys. It's not going to be enough. England, Portugal. Whoever wins this tie, I think most people are saying it, they are going to get through to the finals. Everyone says, oh, it's better to finish second in England's group. To me, it's not. Yeah, I get it. Croatia got Sweden, but then they got France. You don't want to play France. England, Portugal. If you can beat Portugal, you can beat any other team bar France in this tournament. And I'm English, so I'm backing them. England through to Spain. To me, though, whoever wins that round of 16 game, they're going all the way to the finals. So I can't back them because the website doesn't let me yet. But alas, we'll get there. Netherlands versus Germany. I backed Memphis Depay to pull off a magical act. This is the battle of who is hated more by their fans, which manager. Joachim Low, somehow hated in spite of winning a World Cup. Frank or Ronald de Boer, whoever it is, they probably wish it was the other one. But I backed Memphis Depay to do something magic. I'm going to go with Holland. Turkey, Denmark, the battle of the dark horses. And the battle of two teams this close, it often comes down to who is more experienced. Who is more willing to kill themselves knowing it might be their final chance. Turkey, they are inexperienced, they're young. And in players like Sionku, we all know they're rash. I'm going to go with Denmark. I think they've just got enough about them. On to the quarterfinals now. Belgium, Italy. This is again a toss-up. This really is a toss-up. I genuinely think the only team who can beat France is Belgium. But, as I said, I don't rate Kevin De Bruyne in big games. I really don't. That may sound dumb, but that Champions League final we just played, before his face got brucked in by Rudiger, he was poor. The last World Cup, when they went out to France, I believe, he was poor. And the one before that, in the Euros, he was poor. When it comes to these big matches, maybe he'll figure it out. And if he figures it out, Belgium could honestly beat France and get through to the final. But I just don't think he will, and I don't think Lukaku's going to be enough to overcome an Italy team. Maybe Lukaku can one-man them. Other than Depay, Lukaku's my bet for top goal scorer. Maybe he could be enough, but for now, my head's saying Italy. The experience, the defensive awareness that Mancini's going to give them, and that midfield quality that isn't overcome by one of their best players being fat and the other having a literal caved in head. I think it'll be enough. France, Sweden, again, I'm sorry, Sweden. I've already put England past Spain, because again, if Spain's team is really just disrupted by COVID, they're going to struggle. I just think England have enough about them. Netherlands, Denmark, again, this is one of those ties you could see an upset. I might genuinely stick £10 on Denmark to get through to the semis. Do I think they will? No, but will you make a lot of money if they will, and is it a possibility? Abso-bloody-lutely. But, again, I think Holland can pull off something magical. I think Holland can get through to the semis and prove all of their fans wrong. Because of their manager's sudden insight and tactical knowledge? Absolutely not. Because Memphis Depay is quality? Because I expect one of Gravenberch or Koopmeiners to lay their name down, plant the flag on this tournament and say, I'm one of Holland's next great midfielders? That is why. Holland have a great team regardless of Van Dijk's fitness. And to be honest, the fact that De Boer is struggling so much is pretty awful. Again though, on to the semis. I genuinely think Belgium are the only team who can beat France before the final. Italy, their defence individually isn't the best. Chiellini, I don't know if he got called up, but is so old. Mancini, he does very, very good for his father, but good's not enough against France. Mbappe's going to pull something out of his arse. France going to the finals. England, Holland. England, I already said I thought whoever goes through between England and Portugal going to go to the finals. England's whole tournament to me doesn't rely on Harry Kane. It does rely on his ankle, but it doesn't rely on Harry Kane. It relies on Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho has not done what he did for Dortmund for England. But if he can, then England have such a world-class front four in Kane, Mount, Grealish, Foden even, and Sancho, that they could do anything. But again, Sancho's the only real world-class winger England have. And it's going to come down to his form. But it is coming home. So yeah. Have a good one, boys. England are going to win Euros. It is coming home. And don't forget, Fantasy League link down below. Make sure to join, because otherwise I'm just going to think you're scared of me. Peace.